wagon box about 2 weeks after they got here. They grew up between King Lane and Dry Hollow underneath what we call Molly's Nipple, but that was originally called Taysom Peak. Then Grandpa William and his brother Art went up Sand Hollow and built a cabin. That cabin's still there, not in very good shape, but settled there on that spring. And then later they split. Art got the cattle, Grandpa got 160 acres there in Sand Hollow. That's where Ina and her sisters and brothers grew up. They had to bucket water out of the spring to the house at that time. They all learned to work hard, as you probably well know. I always liked, when I was young, to have Harold and Ina would come. Grandma Ruth lived in that house right across the street.
Which of the two?
The blue roof or the one?
The blue roof.
No,
Okay.
the blue roof.
The blue roof, okay.
They put
And then which one was Gell's?
roads and shining,
Gell's was on the corner, right?
siding on it.
Okay.
Oh, so there was a house in between them?
The house in between where Gail's son Evan and his wife Anita, who happens to be my sister, lived.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, they're
We
in that
both
one,
came
and
here
that
from
Dale
a few
Nickeljean was in that one. Grandma Ruth
Bless you.
Allen was in the little house next, and then our house is the next one down.
Whose?
But a little
Who's next
tidbit
one down?
about
Their house. Your house.
Aunt Ida and where she grew up. She always said that my dad was terrible. He'd just tease those girls to death up there. Throw water at them.
Do you
Find
know where?
snakes for them.
Sorry. Do you know where
Tidbits.
Charles was when he was killed by the team of horses? Do you know where they lived?
Charles wasn't killed by William.
No, it was William.
No, William.
Yeah.
William. It was my grandfather. They, when Dad was on a mission in South Africa, they were harvesting, and of course back then we didn't have the fancy combines, and so they'd sack the grain, those old pull-tight combines, and they'd sack the grain. And the story I have was that they were just pulling into the yard, and the sack
In Sand Hollow.
slipped off the wagon, and the wagon went over him. He actually lived for another day or so before he passed away, but back then they might have saved him, but they didn't. So his parents and his grandparents and himself and Grandma Ruth are buried up here in the cemetery.
We were just there
We were just
taking
there, but
pictures.
we couldn't find. We did find a couple of Taysoms. That's how we.
I found
Budges.
I found Grandma and Grandpa Taysom. I found their Ruth.
They're in the next.
Yes,
the
I found
next
Ruth.
lot.
Yes, I found Ruth
And William.
and William, and
where
then
his
I
parents
saw
are
the
born.
two of the siblings were right in front of theirs.
Right.
Yeah, and then we
And
saw
the
the
other-
budges.
Any other questions for us? That's kind of the beginning.
Yeah.
And then I just have one of
Where did you say they lived when he was killed?
And Sand
They
Hollow.
lived up in Sand Hollow.
Where- and
That way, a little way.
Yeah, it's like
south.
7 miles. You go south
It's
and
about
then
south
7
3
miles
and then,
that way.
Well,
and then
Okay.
back up
7
again.
miles away is where they live, but Sand Hollow is not 7 miles away. It's about
It's about 7
4 or 5
Yeah,
miles.
3.5 miles out.
3.5 miles out to Sand Hollow,
And then
then
up.
3.5 miles that way.
Yeah.
We were trying to find if there's. You'll have to show us the log house maybe.
Yeah, we were
She
trying to
wants to
find
tell
out.
us the
The
stories.
cabin, unfortunately, is coming down.
If you go up Sand Hollow and just stay on the road, about 3 miles up there, it's down on the south side of the road, down in.
Okay.
We should.
And
We
you-
lived there when we first got married.
Oh yeah.
For
So
a-
you.
just for a month, but
You wanted to tell
interesting
us.
Sidelight, because we didn't know each other till BYU, but I have an aunt and uncle who lived in Letha and served in Bishoprick with
Oh,
Harold.
with Harold. Oh, that's fun. What were their names?
William Jensen.
Oh, yeah.
Did you
Yeah,
know
the
that?
Jensens, of
Yeah,
course.
his
Yes.
Pauline.
Uh-huh.
That was my mom's sister.
Oh, okay.
So we had a connection even. It
Yeah,
was kind of fun.
that is fun. Yeah, and Letha, I asked that question on the second